like that.
Live online. Let's have a conversation. What we face every day. Tune into your late talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will be like the lady that gets inside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. Don't be ashamed if I'm the same. Say in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your will looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed.
See it lock.
Your lane. Let's have a conversation. What we think every day. It's Marlene Talk Show with Coach Hannah.
That'd be good too.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to your Lane Talk Show with your coach Trish Hannah. Listen. I get all kind of energy today. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the Wheaties. I don't know what it is, but I am pumped and ready to go. Probably because we're talking about dogs, and we ain't talking about dogs. We're talking about the actual Furberry dogs. Okay, the fur. What I saying, Burry? Fur. What it is? Fur babies. But there's another thing what they say. That's a loss. You cannot ask someone who never had a dog in their life any questions about animals because she don't know. All right. So this is definitely not a Dessa show. She might be in and out once in a while because she knows nothing about dogs. All right. So for our first time listeners, welcome to the show. Your Lane Talk Show was created to educate, encourage, and empower women of all ages. I honor our male listeners as well. Of course, this is going to be a show that will include our male listeners, and this is something I know that they'll be enthused about, simply because anything to do with training dogs, training the canines for whatever and in whatever capacity. I know that this is something that they want to interact with. Of course, if you have any questions whatsoever, you can go ahead and WhatsApp it input it in the chat. All right, Your Lane Life Coaching. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Not last week, we had a pre-recording, but the Sunday before that, we had live in studio urologist Dr. Joseph Evans and global fertility coach Dr. Latazia Stewart. We discussed infertility in men and in women. All right, and we dispelled Bahamian myths. We talk about the conch. We talk about the little slimy thing in the conch. Y'all know what that name, because I don't. All right. When it comes to men and women and producing children, we learned so much about the emotional and physical aspects of conception. Of course, if you want to go ahead and watch that show, it is called Understanding Infertility, Breaking Down the Basics. It is episode 91, and you can find that on YouTube. Look up Coach Trish Hannah, episode 91. Okay. Ladies, I'm trying, and gentlemen, of course, I'm trying my hardest to say everything out the way now, because we are in for a treat. It's time. It's time to share the page and tag, share, tag. If you know of anyone who has a dog and wants to learn more about training them, if you are that neighbor, not you. If you are that neighbor that watches your neighbor run behind her dog to call them back inside, to call them and tell them tune in. Tell the neighbor who always running behind the dog, come, tune. If you have a co-worker who always complaining about their belt or their shoes getting chewed up, tell them listen to the show. If you are tired of walking and poop in the middle of the night, tell them listen to the show. On today's episode, we're diving nose first into the captivating world of dog training. We are going to discuss obedience basics to advanced tricks, I hope. We're exploring everything you need to know to transform your furry friend. Let's say furry friend. All right, let's leave it there. All right, so call Brownie. Everybody except Adessa had a dog named Brownie or Blackie growing up. All right, call them. Turn their volume up inside your house so that they can listen in too, so they can know. Because I really want to ask this expert if this is a silly question, but I have to ask it. Do you really, or can people really train pot cakes?
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait. So tune in now. You can go to Star 106.5 FM dial, channel 976 on cable, or log on to Facebook on Your Lane Life Coaching Facebook page to watch us live. Now, Odessa's going to say our predictions. Go ahead, Odessa. Tell me what you think today.
So, our predictions today is going to be 80% aha moments, and I think we're going to have 20% laughter.
Mm.
20%.
20%. So nothing else? No crying, no nothing else. That's it, and that's all. Okay, let's now let's just hope our guest funny because he looks so stiff and so stern. He look like he like I scared. I'd be like yes sir, But look how he look. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll see how he goes. Your Lane episode 92: building trust and connection through proper dog training. That's a reason why I use the term proper. All right. And today's show is brought to you by the Perfume Bar, John's Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Knorr Rice and Pasta Sides, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard, O. Henry Candy, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard, and Libby's Vienna Sausages, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. Now, without further ado, I want to welcome our certified decoy dog trainer, Mr. Clifton Bowe. They call him Cliff. He's from Cliff's Canine College. I'm going to ask him to introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, who you are, how long you've been training, your certifications, etc.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys so much for having me here. It's been a long time coming. I'm really excited, because every given opportunity that comes before me, I take when it comes to portraying the importance of dog training here in the Bahamas. My name is Clifton Bowe, everyone. I've been dealing with dogs all of my life, from I can remember. I've traveled several places internationally, from New York to New Jersey. I've been trained by head decoys in France. I've been head trained by decoys in the US, along with a significant amount of experience in law enforcement, security, civil, private, and commercial. I'm currently a licensed breeder here in the Bahamas. I'm also a certified dog decoy trainer that specializes in personal and family protection, obedience, dog shows, behavioral problems and conflicts, and much more. Here today, I came to speak to you about the crucial role of building trust and connection through proper dog training.
Okay, just before you even get into that, I want to thank you and welcome you to Your Lane Talk Show. Thank you for being a part of this show today. And I don't know, for those who've been following us, if you recall, we had a flyer up with him. Cliff was supposed to be here about a couple weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond his control, I don't know if he's able to share that. But the fact that he's still here is a blessing in itself. So just before we get into anything, Cliff, tell us why you did not show up or could not show up on that day that you were scheduled to come before on Your Lane Talk Show.
I just couldn't help myself. I was with a colleague, and we were doing some training scenarios, and a client came by, and during an exercise on the table, uh, I observed certain behaviors that should already be passed in terms of the set time in which the dog was in this course. Everything in regards to dog training won't be posted online, like on YouTube and stuff. But there was a miscommunication between me and the handler, which resulted in me getting 15 stitches to the throat. The dog is a canine prospect for personal and family protection, which means as a certified decoy, my job is to bring real life scenarios to this canine. And we see more of these type of exercise in securities and law enforcement and car lots and all these type of things. We need dogs to be able to engage a threat if needs be. So to be able to make sure to ensure that the dog will protect in a given time of that, You have to ensure that the dog knows how to react when given certain scenarios.
So run the track. How many stitches did you get?
15.
And can I tell y'all? So he texted me after he coming from the hospital, right? He
I
said,
was on the surgery table.
on the table, Trish, they already finished. You still need me to come here they finished me. You still want me to come here to do the show? No, sir. Please go home, rest yourself, and your 15 stitches. Please rest yourself. When Dane's done already, then then heal. Then you come back on your lane talk show. All right. So we want to thank you. Thank you for being a part.
Thank you, guys.
This is all for the love of
Mhm.
canines, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I Before we get into it, can you tell me the difference between a dog trainer versus a decoy dog trainer?
Well, both have similar characteristics. A dog trainer. Well, if you would say you'd have to simplify it, so you'd be like an obedience dog trainer, an
Mm,
agility dog trainer. So it's broken down into sub subjects, and the role of a decoy itself is to bring forth the scenario of what you're trying to do. So if you wanted to do sports, civil, so civil refers to as residential. Clients who would like a dog to be with them every step of the way.
mm,
You also have dogs for use of therapy for people who are suffering from military um, experiences, um, depression, and the list goes on. So the unique part of being a dog trainer is that everyone specializes in something different. Some specialize in more than one. So that's where the beauty comes in.
mm-hmm.
So a dog trainer is basically the bridge between man and dog. Basically, you could put it that way.
Okay. Okay.
And the difference with a decoy dog trainer is the fact that you're the person that, give or take, has to be placed in certain scenarios to ensure that the dog is receptive to certain training methods.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's very
So,
taxing.
so what inspired you to become a certified decoy dog trainer, and how did you get started in this field?
You want the raw truth or tell you something
I want
else?
the whole truth. This what this
So
show about. Raw.
the raw truth for what it is that I always liked the way bite pressure felt on me. Um, it always took my mind from reality. Something like fishing. Fishing is one hobby that you could do and you will not think about BPL. You're thinking about it at the end of the line. So that was basically what dog training did for me. It was a release. And I always felt as if I understood what's going on. I understood when the dog is in fear. I understood when the dog is in anger. I understood when the dog is unsure until I met a lady from the US Embassy at the age of 17 who took me
Mm-hmm.
in, and it was all up from there. She saw the gift within me, and here I am now. And that's why I am not selfish. I am always open and willing to help and assist because I feel as if the goal for every human being in this world is to pass down knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I personally feel. If that's the case, we've still been living in rock structures and TT huts. So, with
Mm-hmm.
that being said, we're only here for a period of time. So while we're here, let's make the most of it. So that's basically what it was.
Wow. Wow. So that lady saw something in you and just ran off
Yes.
from there.
Hmm.
Awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Can you walk us through the process of how you work with dogs as a decoy trainer? For instance, I bring my Malinois to you.
Hmm.
What's the first step? Is it something that
The
you have to do
very
or something that
oh
I have to
yes,
do?
oh yes. The very first step all trainers should do before we even embark on training is to do an evaluation. And that's on the canine and that's on the family itself. We have to ensure that the dog in which that you want to be personal family protection, have to ensure that you have the control. I have to ensure that everyone in the house is able to control the canine in both defense, in both aggression, and in both fear.
Mm,
Those are vital. And those are the three drives basically that people get bite the most. So it's good to let them know what we're up against, let them know the do's and the don'ts. And as a trainer, you can sugarcoat when it's time to say, "Mom, this dog is too much for you," or
mm-hmm.
"I don't think this dog is capable of it," or "I don't think the dog is stable." Stability in a dog is extremely important, and that's truly where the value lies. and a dog that is balanced, a dog that has time to rest, a dog that has time to be social with the family, and a dog that has time to know when it's time to turn on and then off. So these things are all key factors, and then it goes along with letting them know the criteria, and then it goes then. So training would definitely be almost like the last checklist after everything else is checked, along with securing, making sure the yard is secure. You should not want to embark on a 5,000 to 10,000 training course and the dog is tied to a rope.
Oh, we see that all the
The yard
time.
is open.
We see that all the time.
You know, it's your due diligence to protect the dog from getting into trouble.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your dog, no one else. And it's sad that we have dogs that are victims of irresponsible owners, but that's a topic for another
Another
day.
day.
But
Mhm.
it goes very deep.
All right. So, in your experience, what are some of the biggest challenges you face when working with dogs, and how do you overcome them?
That's an amazing question, and I've never been asked that in the last 12 years, ever,
What?
ever. And I mean, even from dog colleagues, that's an amazing question. The biggest factor in which all trainers that I've worked with, based on I'm speaking from a factual standpoint or what I've
Mhm.
experienced,
Mhm.
is the fact that the quality, the breeding quality, the working quality is not there. We find ourselves working extremely hard building drives. So
Wow.
drives, drives is the natural will. A dog have to hunt, a dog has to defend, a dog has to track, trail, all of these things. We call them the drives.
Mhm.
The hunt drive, the dog has to eat, right? The dog
Mhm.
has to eat.
Mhm.
The prey drive, the will to find something that is out of sight. Rat, cat, that's little kids. That's why all these things we have to look at. Stuff that moves quickly, screams, makes sounds, act like a prey, entices carnivores, entices dogs. So dog training goes beyond what we read or what we see is something you have to experience,
Mhm.
and that isn't something you just could go to college for and it's one set curriculum because all dogs are different.
Different. Mhm.
Okay, all dogs are different. So that is a very good question. So the main thing I definitely say is breeding quality, and we tend to, the biggest challenges we have is we have to import dogs from Europe, Serbia, the US, because the quality isn't there and it works to train us a bit hard, a bit
Wow.
more. And when I say the quality is that, remember I told you guys that stability is important.
Yeah.
You need a dog from a working line, a proven working line, rather than just any here, 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 here. Because just how humans have defects, hypertension, diabetes, you have some bloodlines of dogs that are known for certain triggers.
Mm.
And that's all it goes very deep. In Europe, they have a breeding board. They have a board. Not everyone is allowed to breed in
Mhm.
Europe, and they have to come and assess the dog. So it's a standard.
Talk to me.
Yes. Sorry, sorry.
They can't see that from here.
Oh, I
Talk to
even see the
me.
camera here. No,
Yes,
sorry.
right. Or talk to the camera. Anyone. That's a good hair. That's a good. All
I'm
right.
still getting warm up.
That's
I
all right.
still
Oh,
just dry.
you okay? That's all
Getting
right.
warm up.
This we ain't shy in here. All right.
Yes.
So let's break the ice a little bit then. Remember in my intro I spoke about pot cakes, right?
Yes.
All right. Brownie and Blackie they love to run behind cars. You never really see Brownie and Blackie on the side of the road like that.
Hmm.
All right. But they know how to survive.
Yes.
Brownie and Blackie love to pull down the garbage bins, all the pampers and everything all over the place or whatever have you, right? Brownie and Blackie normally don't have no heartworms. I mean, heart guard, like how we give our Belgians and all these other dogs, Dobermans and stuff, these heart guards. But they know how to survive. Now, I don't know if this is like you said, it's a breeding thing because you know it's three or more, two or more.
Hmm.
Is it three or more, four or more? Some of them because we had Dr. Smith on.
Yes, that's my dog.
Yeah.
Pop, pop.
And I need to know how hard is it or how easy is it to train Brownie or Blackie? By the way, to my international listeners, Brownie and Blackie are known
A
as
mongrel, a mutt.
mutts.
Yeah.
Okay, we call them pot cakes. All right. I think Canadians will be more aware of our pot cakes because you know we export them. But talk to us about training pot cakes.
Okay.
Is it hard?
That's okay. It's an amazing question. I'm digesting it so I could break it down.
Mm.
The first thing you mentioned is in regards to they hunt, they pampas, all those things, right?
Yeah.
So remember, guys, I told you that everything is breaking down in subjects,
Mhm.
subtopics. So
Okay, go ahead and then we can take a break.
no problem. So the will to eat, a pot cake must eat.
Hmm.
Okay. So for a pot cake must to eat, he must use his nose. He must use the drive, the instinct, the will. Okay, that was that. So it all boils down to training the drives you need to be able to train the dog.
Hmm.
Which drive is higher than which one?
Hmm.
I'll give you an example to that later. But there's no significant amount of difficulty when it comes to the differentiation of breeds based on the drives. You can have a putty that has a high ball drive, that has a high full drive. You have purebreds that don't have much drive too. And that's where it all differentiates. And that's why evaluation comes in the key. All dogs could be trained, all kids could have manners. It's the same thing or less. It's how much work you would like to put in. That's the best way to put it. See dog training as giving a dog manners.
I got you.
Once you put that principle into perspective, you'll understand that it's mandatory that all kids be respectful. It's mandatory that all dogs should sit when asked to sit,
And
no matter the breed.
the reason
Haitian
why,
Bahamian, pot cake, what bother.
reason why I asked that question is
Yes.
because we see in most cases where Brownie and Blackie don't have any manners.
No, because Brownie and Blackie, they're not sought after because, oh, it's a pot cake. Oh, I can't make money from it. Oh, I can't do this. But that's up to us. The first 3 dogs in my life was pot cakes, and I trained them too. I use them almost like decoys, my dummies, to perfect my craft
Mm.
because all dogs are different. I have a good friend of mine, William Bowe, a schoolmate, he's a dog trainer as well. He fully trained the pot cake too.
Mhm.
It's how much work you like to put in. That's number one. Number two is the evaluation process, knowing if this dog is capable. That's like, why would we use a Shih Tzu for protection when you know the overall structure isn't conducive? The nasal is too small, too short. The snout is too short. The dog is small.
You said if the dog is capable, but we can pause right there because I need to know because you're saying all dogs are capable of,
Yes.
but then you're
Training,
saying
yes.
if the pot cake is capable, and that kind of confused me. I don't know if it confused
Okay.
you, Dessa. But we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're gonna get into it because I need
Okay.
to know how to continuously train my Belgian Malinois because he ain't fully there yet. But we're gonna talk about that soon.
So her dog is
All right.
quality. Her dog is super. Her dog comes from being Ryan. She mean her dog is quality.
Okay, so we're on a break now. We can talk about that. I was showing Odessa some videos
Yeah.
with my dog, and
I have some good clients following too.
that's awesome. If they have any questions, they can go ahead and ask their questions, and we can go right in it and at it. But I know for a fact that I want to share. I want to share how these. I keep on saying brownie and blackie because I would rather say that than pot cakes, right? But I know it's honorable, but I just like brownie and blackie because I grew up with a brownie and a blackie. I grew up with pot cakes too.
To me, that's pot cakes is looked down upon. But if you get technical,
They're very loyal.
three breeds or more, I could list so much different type of breedings that has it. So in the working field, they do Dutch to Mal.
Mm-hmm.
When they breed the Dutch to the Mal, whatever comes brindle, they register as Dutch. Whatever comes fawn like Tyson, they register as Mal.
Mm-hmm.
That's still a crossbred. So we used to buy that same dog and they breed it to a shepherd. That's a mutt. That's a putty.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the most sought after dog. In law enforcement, they actually use a term called the European pot cake. So
Welcome back. I don't want to spend too much time on brownie and blackie, right?
you
But
gotta love them.
I love them. I grew up with them all my life. But I just want you to talk about just briefly because we want to move on.
Yes.
You said that it may be a bit harder to train them, or you have to try to identify whether or not they can be trained.
Yes.
That's why my question was, can you train one? Is it possible? So it's either yes or no.
Yes, it's possible. It's just the length of training is gonna differ. It's because, like I told you, in regards to the working bloodlines and stuff, you're gonna be faced with a lot of more
Mhm.
survival instincts and more of environmental trainings. I like to give analogies to bring it home. a little puppies, potcakes, brownies.
Mm-hmm.
They with mommy, daddy, auntie, uncle, grammy, grandpa
Mm-hmm.
walking through being town.
Mm-hmm.
And when the kids pass, they pick up rocks to throw at them.
Yeah. Get.
Right? Get.
Mm-hmm.
The puppies don't know what get means.
Mm-hmm.
As they get older, the environment trains them. So they come more on survival.
Mm-hmm.
So now to take the same dog that is used to being in a pack, that mentality that evolves for years and years and
Mm-hmm.
years, you're gonna be faced with maybe a bit more work than a dog that is was bred just for that specific purpose. Basically, that's the best way to
Mm.
put it.
Yeah, but what about dogs like Shih Tzus and Poodles who aren't really bred by packs per se,
Yeah.
but some of them still come out a little crazy? Let me give you a good example. I had a dog named Rakia. All right. I was a teenager. I had a dog, a black poodle named Rakia. All right. Every time the door opens, Rakia decides that she wants to zoom out the door. Okay. My heart in my mouth because I ran the place looking for Rakia and Rakia out in the road. All right. Rakia wants to hang with Brownie and Blackie. Okay. And so for the life of me, of course, I didn't know much about training or anything like that. The most I did for her was to um potty train her, make sure she comes out, do what she have to do, and then come back in. I did that. But I don't know, probably because, I didn't take her out as much why she was so wild, but she was extremely wild and it was really getting on my nerves. All right. And that's not the only person. I'm not the only one who encounters that. I have lots of friends, even on my Facebook account, who always complaining about running after that dog in the middle of the streets like a crazy woman. How do we deal with our um dogs, our small toy dogs, or poodles, Shih Tzu, Chihuahua, Pomeranians, etc. That, like you said, some would require training and some may not
That's,
be conducive to training. I don't know. So how do we deal with those?
that's also another amazing question, and that's very important for the talk show for everyone listening. That is very good. I get about 30 messages, 30 messages just like that a day. When your furry friend, when your baby, when your puppy comes home, that's when training starts. You can't be selective on which training you would like to do first.
Mm.
The reason being, the mass majority of people go quick to potty training is because no one would like to smell feces or urine on the function floor. So you would find them quickly trying to seek help for potty training before they go into basic obedience.
Mhm.
So the same reps that you put in to ensure that um Rukia
Mhm.
doesn't potty on the frontal floor could be the same reps you put in when you open the door. Stay. No, don't go out. No. But there's an imbalance. That's what happens.
I've been saying no.
If that's an imbalance. Yes. And then the next thing is, I'll tell you, I'll tell the viewers a little trick too. The reason why you don't get that response you want when you chase a dog that running away from you,
Mhm.
rather than being tactful, just getting on the floor, having some treats in your hand. Come on, Kia. Come on. But when you chase after them, they know they're in trouble.
That's all.
Dogs are not dumb, and they'll wait till you come close, stop, and then they break off again. But if you
Okay.
just stop out of nowhere, don't chase. Just stop right there, sit on the ground. Hey, baby, and bring some hot dogs. What happens now is he's still gonna get corrected, but you wait till you grab him safely. You let him know that coming to me. Remember, we build in trust
That's
through
true.
proper dog training. That's the
Proper.
topic, right? Right?
It's a
We,
smart
we, we,
one.
build, we
Go
building it.
ahead.
We
Yes,
building
we're
it.
building. Go
So we
ahead.
do things properly. So once we're able now to be tactful and let her know that it's safe to come home,
Mhm.
it's safe to come to me. You know you're in trouble. I know you want to go out a bit more, but and then when you reach inside after, you then caress him. You say no, or you correct, and it's going to be a better approach. Your dog should always know that coming home to you is a reward. That is so important.
That's for spouses too, okay? That's a little something I wanted to put there. All right, all right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
So
so that's
I
it.
wish
That's it.
I had known that before. All right. By the way, when you're doing your treats, try Libby's Vienna sausages.
If I
Okay.
might say one more point,
Go ahead.
um, I experience a large volume of messages whenever a family gets a new puppy, and I be like, the dog peeing all over the place. Hey, but Cliff, how much you train the dog for? I said, Mom, sit down, stay. Won't help that particular reason of training. You would
Mm-hmm.
like potty training.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give them instructions, homework to do
Mm-hmm.
because I don't live with you. So if I don't live with you, all potty training is a schedule, a feeding schedule, a potty schedule. You have to be disciplined.
Let's go there. Let's go there. There's a
You have to
typical
be
day.
disciplined.
There's a typical day with a family of, well, it doesn't matter how many, but the point is they leave out the house about 7:30. They get back home about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Okay, they just got a new puppy. Before they left or before they leave the house, they would probably go and take the puppy out, see if they, do what it has to do, excrete whatever needs to be excreted, and then bring the puppy in. But because I remember this from either you or my other trainer, they would leave the food and the water on the ground. And then when they come home, they meet the urine all over the place, the feces all over the place. Let's correct that.
That's a bit tricky. The reason being is the key word that you said is puppy, not adult dog. So there's only so much their urine, their bladder could hold,
Mm-hmm.
and their stomach area could actually hold.
Mm-hmm.
But and I feed my pups like 2 to 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the commitment you do when you own a dog.
Right.
That is the commitment you put yourself in when you say, you know what, I'm gonna get a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make time for the puppy. Okay. In situations where as I'm working too long and I have a pup, I'll get bedding, the same bedding they use for rabbits,
Mm-hmm.
hamsters, the wood shavings.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put that in the crate. So in case they make a stinky or boo-boo, and I just shovel it out when I'm finished.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or shredded newspaper. But the goal is to ensure that whatever happens, you're responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, you're still responsible. Training,
So you
everything.
suggest that they are confined, they're in a cage. while you
Boundaries,
leave?
yes.
Okay.
Boundary
So
starts
that's
when the
important.
puppy comes day one.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I tell you, we normally do training when we start to encounter the problems around 11 to 16 weeks. That's around the teething age.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely around 14 weeks is actually the teething age.
Mm-hmm.
They get a little nappy, all breeds,
Mhm.
all. Their gums start itching. They would like to bite things. So a lot of owners with young kids tend to be a little annoyed now because the dog is being a little nappy. So what
Yeah.
happens now is you have to provide the boundaries when the dog comes. So that's why I tell you training starts from day one.
Right.
Okay. So don't give the puppy all access to the entire house and you have a 3-story house.
Right.
Because by the time he come to the 3rd floor,
Mhm.
he's not gonna walk way to the first floor
To
to
go.
potty.
Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
It's not unrealistic.
All right. So you have him in a cage. You get home. Um, of course, you have to do what you have to do as the dog grows, gets older. Let's say the weekend.
Uh-huh.
The weekend. So what happens? How do you train during that time?
You don't have to put a cage involved. You could put a playpen.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't mandatory a cage because the dogs still need proper exercise
Mhm.
to grow properly. You also, especially if you're talking about a house dog, you need the dog to be able to roam at times when you're available to interact with your dog so you can condition him to the do's and the don'ts. So you have potty training, you get obedience training, you get protection training, you also have behavioral training because you might want him bite on the broom, on the mop, on the curtains.
Or barking at people
But
when they
keeping
come.
him in the
Yeah.
cage is going to
Mhm.
keep that energy, that will to want to just roam and get into mischiefs. You can't correct it. The dog has to do certain things to either be corrected or praised for it.
Mhm.
And that's the main thing right
Let's
there.
go there. Now, in our culture, right? Definitely in our culture, we notice that when it comes to discipline, you have some people who spank the dogs, like they spank children. Or in some cases, if the dog poops on the ground, they would put the dog's nose by the poop and then spank the nose or something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they also say wasp nest is to make the dog bad too and all that type of stuff. But we're talking about proper things. And the proper thing is we have to put the time into the dog. So in terms of correction, it's a sensitive area because you have levels of dog lovers.
Mm.
Dogs are used to replace kids too.
Mm-hmm.
So in females who are not able to conceive, they have a different love.
Mm-hmm.
You have some people who would love their dogs outside, but they love dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You have some people who sleep with their dog in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're able to teach the dog, Miss Hannah, that what you did is wrong and stop doing it, however you wish to do, it must be a different way from your praise. So if I was to say, good boy, daddy baby, mama.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, good job. No, too different.
Yeah.
The energy.
Different voices.
The
Yeah.
energy.
Sternness.
When the father talks in the home and the mommies talk, it's two different responses from the kids, no
Mhm.
matter how it is.
Mhm.
Okay, so certain corrections you don't need to put physical actions inside of there,
Okay.
but certain breeds require certain
I
corrections.
love your political response, but can you advise how you would train or discipline a dog that may you know for a fact has done something that they're not supposed to do?
I tap the butt, 2 fingers to the nose. I instilled it at a very young age, so
Mm-hmm.
the older they get, that fear still stays there.
Mm-hmm.
All of my dogs would come to me, and that's the next reason. That's the next reason during evaluation to ask the owner just to get down and call your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Your dog should never be timid to coming towards you.
Mm-hmm.
So I always let my clients know when you're correcting your dog, if you see a bit of fear involved, you're doing too much. Calm it down. A tap on the nose, a tap on the butt, along with no.
A stern
You
no.
have you have to imprint no.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks later, with your consistency, you could say no. You don't have to say no
Mm-hmm.
because all of these ties into one. There's basically levels to your forest stand. Basically, that's the best way to put it.
I don't need, I'm not even stern with my dog anymore. I'd be like, no. And then he'll just stop what he's doing, which is good because he came a long way. All right. Last week we went swimming with the pigs. We have our hands up. No. You have to do a stern no. And the pigs laugh. The pig train, Odessa. The pig train. So if you could train a pig and the pig knows no, then of course I'm most certain that you could train your dog. All right. Let's talk about what do you call those particular collars that you place on those dogs to help them? Come on, you know these vocabulary.
Okay,
The training
the
collars.
electronic one or the manual one.
We're gonna talk about.
Okay,
What are your
well,
thoughts on that? What do they do, and how can you be in reinforce discipline with the dog?
okay, good question. Just like the levels of correction, you have levels of methods. Not all dogs can take number one, e-collar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's involve electricity. That's involve vibration, beeping sounds. But what all of them have in common is
Mm-hmm.
a stimulation to snap the dog out of the current behavior. That's the best way to put it. So I'll give you an example of a stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
A dog is wandering and he went to a beehive and he got zapped,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you come back to that same park, he's not going to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
He got stimulated. E-collars and prong collars both seem harsh to the different levels of dog owners.
Mm-hmm.
But as a dog trainer, your job is to know all methods
Mm-hmm.
because you never know which you're going to be faced with.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Our job is so amazing. It's so unpredictable because some days we have the dogs that are way up there, and then sometimes we have to put our energy literally into the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is energy. You come, sit down. That's exactly how your obedience is going to be. You're boring, all these type of things too. Okay, so the prong were used mainly back in the 90s, even up to the day. It's a very effective tool, but from the outside looking in, it looks like you're putting stab wounds in it into the dog.
Right.
It's not sharp, but it looks like it has a bunch of teeth
Mm-hmm.
and it snaps the dog out of it. What happens is, as humans, we tend to abuse power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the conflict comes in training, the excessiveness, overstimulating, overcorrecting. You have to know when to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the dog knows he made a mistake, but some mistakes you won't give him a level 10 correction when it was just a boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things you have to use your discretion for in dog training, okay? And the way a handler and the dog interact with each other tells a lot about their relationship. That's the beauty of dog training. It's supposed to display harmony. The dog should want to work for you.
Right.
Like it isn't even a work. We just playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it should always be. Pet, working, all of those. It's all about fun. No matter how you put it. Even the baddest dog chasing the most wanted suspect. It has to be fun. Literally, it's a game.
I
It's
like that.
all a game.
I
It's
like
all
that.
a game.
Also, what? How do you? Well, I guess I had like three different questions as you were talking. How you ready? demonstrated, or you said a little bit about building trust. So can
Yes.
we go further into it? So
How do we build
someone
trust?
who gets their dog, and you've already explained, hey, if it's excessive, um, um, uh, what's the word? Handling,
Hmm.
excessive handling, or negative handling, or too abrupt,
Hmm.
or whatever have you, it will cause that dog to not want to come to you if they call. Is that what you're saying? Because I just want
Yes.
to help, especially like we have female listeners who have Dobermans and pit bulls and all these different things, who would want to know, the proper way, hence the term proper,
To build trust
right, to build that trust. So how else can we build trust with our dogs?
through consistency, providing clear expectations, praise, treats, reward. Training should never end with the dog being sulky, depressed. It should always end how it started.
Mm.
If the dog is getting a bit bored, you go higher in energy and you end it right there. Bathing. Sometimes the best time to train is knowing when not to train. The best time to train is knowing when not to train. The greatest athletes in the world have to rest.
Yeah.
The recovery period of dog training is important. So if I'm a decoy and I'm displaying um a armed suspect, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we're doing the firearm drill, boom, 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 boom. I teach them to bite the hand where the gun is at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bam, bam, bam. After that class is over, right? That next day, that don't mean he took it in. It might take 3 to 4 days recovery
Mm-hmm.
period.
Mm-hmm.
But the objective is to ensure that he understood what he was doing
Mm-hmm.
and he built from it more and more. So fear is fine. Everyone has fear. What separates us is what we do when we are scared. Do we go in the corner or do we go there? And that's where trust is important and let the dog know, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. Through praise, through affection, through consistency. It is not you do what I say and that's final. No. It's you do what I say and I'm gonna look out for you too.
Mm. I
You
love that.
yeah, that's
That
that's
that
that's the
that's
best way to put
basically
it.
the trust way.
You know.
I love that.
It's the
You
cornerstone of all relationships in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
All. You can't avoid certain principles in life
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
It all ties into one.
Mm-hmm. You spoke about consistency, right? How can owners maintain consistency in their training efforts?
Yes.
How?
That's up to you as an individual to set a schedule. If you don't plan in life, you plan to fail. Okay. And if you plan to get a dog, you should plan to train at some point.
Mm-hmm. No
Okay.
matter what type of
Yeah.
dog it
And
is.
it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
You get your dog, you did your evaluation, you get your trainer, and training is all done. That don't mean it stops there.
Right.
Manners don't stop there. Manners take you through the world
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
up to everyone age, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But with training, simple as dinner time, breakfast, playtime, a simple setting to hurt. So you take up his food, you jump on the counter, sit, stay. You give him his food. Watch how the reward comes into play. He's going to eat dinner, yes,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to eat dinner a certain way. You got to behave a certain way.
Yeah.
That's your reps.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2, 3 minutes getting ready for bed. You mix his food, sit, or get some hot dogs with three. Each treat is a command.
Libby's Vienna sausages, to be exact.
If
Go ahead.
they don't believe you, they could try it. That is puppy crack. Every dog love it. Every last
Love
one.
them.
Yeah,
That's how I train, and they're also sponsors of the show. Go ahead.
oh wow, good.
Yes.
You
Uh-huh.
know. So for the most part, we look at it as, oh my God, I am tired. Work is hard. But everything we do is training.
Yeah.
No matter how we look at it. Let me tell you why. We know we don't want the dog poop in the cage. So
No.
no matter how tired he is, we can ensure that he goes outside.
Mm-hmm.
You open the door, out. Open the door, come inside. Go in your room, inside. That's training. But we are selective on what we're choosing to be consistent with.
I get it. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that we're selective. That's where the miscommunication comes in because we're selective. We're not saying that Brownie and Blackie is loose. Oh, that ain't important. Any pot cakes, they ain't gonna bite no one.
Mhm.
No, you can't be selective. You can't be a dog's room, man. You
All
know.
right. You want to take a break right here, Beats, or you want to go on? Yeah, let's take a break because I want to talk about I want to talk about leash pulling. I want to talk about jumping. I want to talk about excessive barking, especially when you have guests around and stuff.
Yeah.
And we talk about all that
And you need
right
to talk
after
about
this
why the
break.
play. Oh, sorry.
Right after this break.
Wow.
Want to talk about what?
We gotta talk about a dog. We're so untapped, Trish. That's why I never stop these talk show because it's untapped.
Yeah.
It's like a rich man just soon come and just take over now. So it's like you have no dog parks. They don't ensure that training is in it's the law. So much things
You're
is
not done. You're still live, so I want to make sure you get all of that in. Go ahead.
so much things are misunderstood, and it's because the love is in there.
Mm.
It's not there.
Where?
See,
You knew about that?
I don't know if you sure, but I'm not sure if you mean the right Bahamas Trust, Bahamas Kennel Club. Them,
Yes.
yeah.
Those the past
Mhm.
Bahamas National Trust.
That's their private property. I mean, a government dog park.
Oh.
Something that we could have acres, or something we have a good
Yeah.
size and have the government fund it.
Yeah.
You know that's the private property that doesn't like go around.
If we could tap in, Miss Hannah, to the dog world, tourism will go here. Tourism
so?
will go here.
You think so? And how much time we have? I just want to ask some real quick
13
questions. Oh, 13 seconds. So real quick,
All right.
how can dog tourism or how can dog increase our tourism industry?
Through shows, exposure. We export and import cakes. And
We
we can't
are.
import quality dogs.
This man.
Dog park, what you gonna just say?
Or I go deep,
This
deep,
man.
deep.
This man
You
going
walk
deep.
to a hotel and they let you bring your dog, you know it's an extra $300, right?
No, you have some hotels.
If they, I'm saying, if they let you bring your dog.
Yeah. Let's go. Welcome back. Listen, this is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. We have with us decoy canine trainer Cliff Bowe in the studio. Man, he giving us all kind of information about training, the proper way of training our canines. We spoke about the consistency in it. We spoke about the various tones and methods that we can use when we want to train our dog. That's a difference between the praises versus the discipline in our voice and the tone of our voices. We spoke about it is possible for any dog to be trained, but of course you want to do it the right way, the proper way. And so someone asking real quick, I don't know if Cliff is able to answer this question, but was a proposal ever submitted to the Ministry of Tourism? You able to answer that?
No, ma'am. I
Okay.
can answer it,
But you're
it was
not.
not submitted.
Okay.
It's done though.
All right. Let's
After
see.
so many no's, be little depressing.
No, you just keep on going. How many no's have great men accepted and faced before they actually got their yes?
Miss Hannah, that's why we're here today.
Talk, sir.
That's why we're here. But there's one point I would like to say before we move on.
Yeah.
And this is for the people who are listening who might be shy to say.
Mm.
Wherever you are watching, maybe on your tablet or your phone or your laptop, and you might want to say this, but you might know how to word it.
Mm.
The reason why majority of dog owners experience such problems in terms of recall, calling the dog back to you, in terms of the dog not wanting to work for you, sit down, stay, the dog just basically tune you out. It's because dogs can feel when they're just like a bother. You understand me? You can't just boss someone around and treat them poorly and expect them to want to work for you. And that's why important and trust is so important in building the trust.
Oh, he really
Because
going there.
oh,
Let's go. Let's go.
The thing is, if you're not letting me know that you have me, rub me up, just let me know that you love me.
Taking care.
Why should I want to work for you?
Mhm.
The stronger your trust, the more your dog will want to please you.
So have you in your time of training other owners, right? Have you seen that?
Yes.
I mean, do you directly tell your clients, hey, we could tell you are
My clients knew, and I always give like not a little bet. But we use the term bet.
Mhm.
But all of my dogs, every last dog I've ever trained in my life, loves me basically on the level of their owners, and I don't even live with them. I'm only there for maybe an hour training and then 2 hours talking. But the dogs love me as if I live there, and it's because I relate to them. I get down, I get dirty. and I let them know that we doing this.
Mhm.
Come on, mommy. If all dog owners go home right now and say, "Tiny baby girl, mommy," your dog will look at you like, and do the zoomies. And all dog owners know what is a zoomie. A zoomie is when they just break up running, they hunch their body, and they go dead fast, nowhere in circles. Stimulated. And at that
Wow.
given time, you just come in and you get some treats. Come here, sit. And the minute he sits and you mark it, and you mark it, he will always want to sit.
Yeah.
That's why when you teach a puppy to sit, hey, Cliff, my dog only knows sit. Try it down.
Mhm.
Go down.
Mhm.
When he lays down, you mark it. Is to know when to reward the cue.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not certain if this was you. This is a few years ago. I saw this video, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. This is video of this gentleman that went in the gas station. I don't know if it's you. So if you know who the person is, then that's cool.
It's like a video.
It was a video that was on Facebook, and
Mm.
here in Nassau, the dog,
No matter
the
what.
man had a dog. I don't not certain what type of dog it was, and he asked the dog to sit by the entrance of the gas station. You know, the store,
Uh-huh.
right? And he went. He got some snacks, got whatever he needed to do. When he came back out, the dog was still laying down.
Mhm.
I mean, not sit. What was the other term that you
Down.
Down, and he stayed down
Mhm.
until the owner came back. I don't know if you ever seen that video.
Yeah, I have one of those. Two other my colleagues have one of those as well.
No, but this is like in
Yes.
public setting.
That
This
was
is a
that
couple
was
years
that
ago.
sounded like that was Cliff's Canine College. They went to Esso, South Beach, and they went to Super Value. But I know others that did it. But what I want you to understand is the importance of it, not the beauty that because pot cakes, Brownie and Blackie,
Mhm.
they just walk to the store and they just wait. They just wait. You know
Yes,
why
they
they
do.
just wait compared to the same full breed dog? It's because of trust. The dog know the owner is coming back
Yes.
for him.
Yeah.
The dog knows that this is the position in which he wants me to stay
Mhm.
because I trust you and I like to work with you because you train me properly. There's a communication. Remember now, the difference with communication and just talking, comprehension has to take place.
Yes.
So if me and you talking, Miss Hannah, and I'm not breaking it down to where you would understand it or
Yeah.
vice versa, we ain't really communicate, ma'am.
No. No.
Just had a dialogue. And that's why I would like to give you factual responses, political responses, but I could also give it you to the raw honey as well because that's who I am.
Mm.
And everyone who knows Cliff's Canine College is because I got popular because I always broke it down the notch.
Mhm.
Because if you watch YouTube, how to train a dog, there are going to be some parts that they don't tell you. The days when you're not to train, the treats that the dog are not interested in, the times when the dog just don't listen. What
Mm.
do you do? So these are things that have to happen when you go through experience. And the one more thing is, no matter how they look at it, all dog owners are trainers. I can't wait
No,
to what else.
that I understand because my little
All
daughter
dog owners are
could
parents.
my daughter can tell our
Mhm.
dog what to do and he does it. In fact, he listens to her more than he listens to me. I want to say something, but I don't want to get in trouble. There's see if I could do this as fast as I possibly can, as clean as I can. My kids were running in the road in our area. And the last one, that's my dog's Heart. The last one was screaming, but her screaming was just screaming like you can't catch me or something screaming. I have a Belgian Malinois. I'm gonna leave it there. Let's just say that he was in the gate, and then 2 seconds he was not in the gate because she was screaming.
Wow, it's screaming in defense.
Okay, I don't. It's scary, and I have to be careful, obviously, how I say these things. But I that for the life of me, I don't understand. He didn't do anything. He just wanted to know what was going on. Like he keep on pulling the gate. We put some things, some barriers, to prevent that from happening again. But I just wanted to share. that.
Dogs know alpha, dogs know dependence. Dogs know dependence.
Good.
Something going on my throat. Sorry
That's
about
okay.
that.
No,
But
that's fine.
The
That all
dogs know the dependence. Dogs know alpha. And that's the next part that is important in dog training is the fact that a individual in the house would get a dog and everyone in the house would avoid the dog, but expect the dog to listen.
Mhm.
You have to have your role into the dog life. You have to. And what should all be distributed evenly It's the fact that everyone in the house is alpha, not you. Once the dog knows his role inside of the pack, and when he steps out, he's corrected. And that's why I told you this level of corrections. If you go down to wolves where the documents said they're derived from,
Mm.
the alpha is the only one who mates. The alpha eats first. All this type
Mhm.
of privileges, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And whenever the juveniles step out of line, they're severely corrected.
Mhm.
Severely. They get a mark that they remembers. And when they can't handle it no more, they find their own pack in terms of the males. Because that's his house.
Mhm.
And I'm using this principle because we can relate to it in life. As a man,
Mhm.
you should have your own family. Okay? But I'm saying that to say this though. A lot of people goes through so much things and conflicts with their dog because they try to be at the level of their dog. You can't be at the level of your kids. You're their guide, you're their mentor.
Mhm.
They look to you for guidance. So you can want, okay, the old term, play the puppy, they lick your mouth. That's the
Mhm.
true saying.
Mhm.
That's the true saying.
Yeah, but you have people who, like especially the when they're actually in the house and they sleep in the same bed and they eat at the table together with their dogs on different things. So what do you do with that? Because like you said, they treat the dogs or we treat our dogs like family.
Uh-huh.
So
And
how do you get to distinguish, okay, well, I have to be at another level than you, if you so much in love, similarly, like you said, with a parent or a child, you have some children who think that they set with their parents because they want that best friend relationship.
yes. Um,
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you have this dog and you want to be best friends. So I guess there's a level of barrier that you have to use.
the difference between a child and an adult, a dog and a puppy, age, experience. As an adult, we know how to get to our kids' level tactfully,
Mm-hmm.
or we should know, to get the result that we want. Same thing with the dog. So certain signs, dog humping you, dog not allowing you, dog, thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Dog not allowing you to anywhere other sight. It's like there are signs of possession. Those are signs of the dog thinking he owns you. But through proper training, you'll be able to identify certain things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Uh that's about it. Let's do same, Sana.
All
Go ask
right.
a
So
question.
let's because we didn't get to the leash pulling.
Mhm.
That's an issue that I see a lot, especially on the beaches and stuff with people and their dogs. Let's talk about that. The jumping on people when they're not supposed to. Excessive barking when you have company over. There's a particular person I know for a fact that whenever you go to their house, their Shih Tzu just barking, carrying on dead back, and they will not stop. So you can't really have a sensible conversation
Oh wow.
because they always just barking. So how do we deal with stuff like that?
Okay, first one, leash pulling. One time ago, that actually was a style. You know, we get a pit bull and they pull.
Mm-hmm.
It comes a time when that gets annoying. It comes a time where it portrays to be as if your dog is uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
A picture video just portrays a thousand words, and that's improper training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the dog in the dog's mind, he's leading you. You're
Yeah.
not leading him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why I told you it all boils down to the principle of the drives, of the instincts of the dogs, because these small things shows you where you is in the pack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now it could be a gentle dog, it could be whatever the case may be. But just because the dog thinks he's alpha don't means it's in an aggressive way, It don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be out of aggression. It's
Mm-hmm.
be based on what you allow him to get away with.
Mm-hmm.
Leash pulling is one of the easiest things you could correct. Well,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had more challenging topics like animal aggression, infant aggression. Those are very difficult, and I
Mm-hmm.
always advise my clients to consider getting a new dog
Mm-hmm.
because
Obviously.
in training, you have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay, if the dog could do it in your face, he do it behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
When we leave home, especially people with more than one dog, the alpha is established until mommy and daddy come back home.
Mm-hmm.
That's why certain things happen in our absence. Because the minute we leave, the dog then know run the fence. Let me give you an example. A person with two or more dogs and they're barking at the gate. If a particular person skips the pecking order, he's corrected. This is my gate. I'm barking at this. Go away. And you would see it. Okay? Because everything in life has boundaries and
Yeah.
rules.
Mhm.
Everything. And when we go against it and we go astray, we reap the consequences. So, leash pulling. The next point you made, Miss Hannah, what it was?
Um, jumping,
Jumping.
on.
Jumping. Remember, I told you training starts from day one?
Yeah.
So when the puppy, 8 weeks, it's cute. Hey, baby.
Mhm.
And the puppy reached 9 months and he was 70 pounds. And oh my God, you can't wear what? No, it's because training starts from day one.
Mhm.
If that's a behavior you would like, I'd advise you to give a command to it. My dogs know hug. So I'd say hug. I don't say hug, leave me alone.
Mhm.
I leave you alone. What's so unique about dogs is that the minute you get in their space and you bother them, they don't like it. And I'm being honest with you.
Mhm.
So, like how your dog will be all up under you, right? You walk to him and be, he'd be like, Mom, really? So everything in which is a mode for, but the jumping can be pretty annoying. And I would like the viewers that are listening to seek dog training for a positive life,
Mhm.
for an advancement, to be productive, not a reaction, not from something that happened. Because when it's that way, we have to now tackle that problem
Yeah.
before we get to the actual concern
Yeah.
of having a balanced dog. Okay, so don't allow things to get out of line before correcting. You bend the tree when it's young.
Yeah.
All these principles tie into one. It's easier to curve a puppy younger than a puppy 5 years old that you allow doing these things. Okay, so if you're not a person who's gonna be fan of the dog jumping on you, you shouldn't allow it.
So how do you deal with excessive barking?
And that's the next thing. That's a very good. I have an excessive barker home, Ginger. Oh my God, she bark for nothing. She named Ginger.
Oh, my cat named Ginger. Go ahead.
Always barking.
Uh-huh. What type of dog is it?
Remember I told you guys I'd be realistic.
Sorry, what type of dog is it?
She's a Shih Tzu.
Oh, that's why
Um,
they spoiled.
the
Uh-huh.
the German Shepherd was it's an amazing breed that were bred to protect the German borders.
Mhm.
Um, they tend to bark. So in the Shepherd family, in the herding class, the shepherds bark a lot. Every shepherd owner could tell you. Okay, so some breeds tend to bark more. Some dogs are quiet. Some dogs are extremely quiet. So if that's what the dice gives you, you could be able to curve it to be like a bark caller, correcting, letting them know that no. As a dog owner, we know when our dog is barking at a stray dog, an intruder, someone knocking at the door, all of these type things. As dog owners, we know when it's something out of the ordinary.
Right.
Okay. So if it's something excessive and a party next door and the dog just keep barking, correct the dog. No. If that don't happen, put her in the cage, put her in timeout, let her know that that's not what you want, and then you reward it afterwards.
That's what's
So
going
you
on.
reward silence.
Right.
So about in my line of work, we teach guard, we teach passive, bark and hold. So be roof, 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 roof. The decoy try to run, he bites. The bark and hold. Person breaks into your yard, you send your dog. He can't move, you wait till the police come. Bam, bam, bam. Basically, just the bark and hold. It's normally used in civil, KNBP, Schitzen, PSA. There are training clubs all over the world that the US gets their dogs from.
Right.
That's like the dog college for the police in the States, basically. Okay. They're the best bloodlines all around the world that is going to the most extreme to show what the dog can take. So, with that being said, you reward silence. If you want a dog to be quiet, no, good girl. Just so speak. And then the dog look at me. And then just what I'm saying to you is how I teach it, honestly. So if you have a little puppy, you look at it, you see the puppy side, good boy, good. Speak, speak, speak. Row, row, yes. Sending and reverse it. Quiet. No. The bee even say shut up. Honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you all that. I don't say shut up. But I'm saying, but like I said to you, once there's proper training and a proper trust involved, the dog know when he's doing something wrong.
So let's say we have a small, well, big or small, a dog that's in the home, right? Do you recommend clickers
Okay. Clickers are a
or
good
any
method
form
too.
of aids?
Let me tell you, I'd advise the praise to always come from you. The cues to always come from you in the beginning. Okay. Clickers, good for beginners. From my experience, I rather everything comes from me. The yes, the good boy. I would like those cues to come from me. So a
Mhm.
clicker. So you'd say sit, the dog looks at you, he sit, you gotta remember to click. Click, click, reward. At a certain point, you have to know when to desensitize it, when to cut it out.
Mhm.
Because if it's no clicker, because every time you press the clicker, he looks in for a
Mhm.
reward.
Mhm.
Some days you might have your clicker. The clicker may be broken. But if it comes from you, it ain't gonna hurt you to say good boy.
I
It
get it.
means more. Trust me, when you could reward your dog, they live for yes. They live for that.
Okay, so this is actually a really good. I'll use that question for the last. So let me ask you this one: how do you handle setbacks or challenges in training, and what strategies do you use to keep both the owner and the dog motivated?
Positive reinforcement for the owner and for the dogs. I remind them of good training sessions.
Mhm.
I remind them how far they have came.
Mhm.
I remind them.
Mhm.
I remind them that
Mhm.
every day isn't going to always be productive, but it's productive if you look at it in a different sense.
Mhm.
So the dog might fail in outing. He be doing the bite work. The dog don't want to out, but he's receptive in obedience. It's still a good day. We
Mhm.
have to know and not be selective because at the end of the day, the dog cannot fail. If it comes a time when the dog is a bit bored, tired, okay, let's give him a break. We resume next week
Mhm.
and then go all over again. So in that regard, I'd be positive to them because the wrongest thing I want is that frustration and depression going down that leash.
Mhm.
The energy transfers, okay, and the dog will be able to sense it. You don't believe me? Okay, viewers, let me give you an example. When your dog does something and he knows he did something wrong, you just came home, he bite up your Versace heels.
Mhm.
You could see on his face he did something wrong.
Mhm. Mhm.
The energy don't lie.
Mhm.
And you'd be like, Titan, Tyson, where you is?
Mhm.
And he in his cage sleeping. And you know
Mhm.
he's gonna be to the gate playing with you, right? It's because he didn't know the energy. Our next thing is dogs read our expression. That's why it's good to have one face. We always happy. And it takes an experienced dog trainer to know that.
Mhm.
That is important. The minute you come back, you tell your dog, sit, stay, and you mad because he didn't do it the first 10 times. Remember, I told you the dog don't fail. Teach him. Be
Mhm.
positive.
Mhm.
And you walk off and you come back with your face screw, he didn't know something happened. So all these things tie into one, basically.
Mhm. Adasa has a question. Doesn't
Oh wow. So you love dogs for true?
Adas.
Okay. So my question is, I heard you talk about the trust with the owners and all of that stuff. In your years of experience, have you ever had to actually tell a dog owner that the same for them?
Oh yes. What?
And how do they take it?
Um, they tend to find an extra, you know. Um, Miss Hannah gave me permission I could go raw,
Go raw, please.
but to the bottom they fight, to the top they collaborate. I say that to say we talk to one another and we advise one another. The job is to share. Okay,
You're talking about the
I
trainers
talk
now.
it in general.
Mhm.
The population to dog trainers, to the amount of dogs that we have, it's only a little bit of dog trainers. Okay, so everyone is entitled to a second opinion, and that's fair. That's a part of being professional. But what confirms it is that when they take on the challenge and then they see it, my job is to warn you the dog is unstable. I don't advise this dog for you.
Mhm.
Okay. If I know you have steel in your back and you have a 150-pound Rottweiler and you would like protection, I wouldn't advise that for you.
Mhm.
I'd say a mile. A mile is 60 to 90 pounds. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
But certain things you have to because if anything happens and you get to go to court, you're responsible. This goes deep.
Mhm.
This goes extremely deep. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna ask, is the dog stable? Where's the training records? What is the proof?
Yeah, that training record.
Oh,
Training
that's
records.
that's important. Yeah, that's important.
Whew. Um. All right. That just yeah. All right. What do you do in situations where you do have a family and
I need to know more. And that's freestyling
freestyle it,
in my heart.
freestyle. You have a family and you have maybe the the male of the house, you know, the man of the house. He's consistent with training the dog and you know telling the dog what to do, what not to do. And let's say he travels and of course the wife is there, the kids are there, the teenager, they have teenagers, and the wife just allows the dog, you know, to jump up or gives the dog the food while the dog is still trying to get on her and all these different things. And I'm really referring to inconsistency because I remember you said something about everyone should be an alpha in the home,
In sync.
right, and in sync. So how do you deal with situations like that when one person is assertive with or with having to train and intentional about having to train and to maintain that, and then you have somebody else in the home who just be like, man, I grew up with Brownie, just do whatever, you know, whatever, give the dog whatever time they want to eat, whatever they want to do.
What's going to happen in the long term is the dog is going to be conditioned to what he can get away with him or her.
Mhm.
So as long as he there and he did the training, for the most part, the dog will listen to him because he know it is what it is.
Mhm.
Now, when he go away, he come out to play. He know he's going to be able to get away with certain things. He could jump on the kitchen counter,
Mhm.
teeth a hot dog, break open a can of beanie, and don't get in trouble for it.
Mhm.
So what happens now is once the family, I'd say for the most part, is comfortable with that, because you also have some on a flip side of scenario, Miss Hannah, the
Mhm.
fact that maybe the wife scared or she don't want to correct the dog, or maybe she is just too loving and she just see the dog as a baby.
Mhm.
Certain things to that, that's where you get like a little conflict now. Because remember, I told you puppy lick him out. Let me
Mhm.
bring it home for everyone because this is a perfect example.
Mhm.
If only me is correct the dogs, I tried to teach you and you didn't listen to me, and now I have to go away for 6 months. And you're outside with the kids, and the neighbor passed with two Shih Tzus that are biggity,
Mhm.
that are trying to bark, and they're walking on your side of the street. And four of your dogs goes to the fence, and you go there by yourself now after all the lovey-dovey stuff,
Mhm.
and you just no, no, move, and the dog don't respect you,
Right.
and then the dogs, your dog itself, get into a little argument now, right? Because it happens.
Yeah.
And that's something they don't talk about a lot. It's the fact that dog fights happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. Okay. And you're trying to move them, right? And they nip at you or they back talk you.
Ooh.
You gonna see the dog turn on you? No. It's a back talk. Leave me alone. Mhm. Okay. So overstimulating, over loving without giving a balance can sometimes not go in your favor. That's the best way I could put it. I'm not telling the viewers not to love their dog because I love my dogs, the dirt they walk
Mhm.
on.
Mhm.
But when they're on a line, they have to know. And that's where the balance comes in. It has to be a balance. If not, it only depends now on the scenario. And you can't create your scenarios all the time. And that's where it gets a bit unpredictable
Mhm.
because you're not sure what's going to happen. If your husband walks a dog in your scenario and he goes away and you never walk the dog without him, four dogs, whatever breed you would like to name, and y'all pass in the yard with dogs and they pull you, how you can control them?
Danger.
So certain, like I say, certain things it's hard to control, and that's why it's important to have proper training, proper trust, and a balance. You can't go wrong. You can't go away around it. And if you do, it's only a matter of time before something happens. Basically.
I'm so glad you made that point because there's so many people who I know in situations like that where they love their dog so much that they don't have that balance and they believe, okay, well, if you're paying all this money to train, then you deal with that. I'll just love my dog the way that I want to. And then, like you said, when that alpha leaves, and the dog already knows or distinguishes who is in control
Yes.
and who run the show. And they're, like you said, they're going to turn on you. And that's a serious thing. So we have to know that. What are your thoughts on training classes or working with professional trainers versus training at home for yourself? And of course, I had to ask this question because I know this is what you are and what you do. But you have some people who'd be like, well, I don't really need a trainer. I could just go on YouTube and do it myself.
I I love both methods. I also love people that challenge themselves and contact experienced person or specialist when they need a bit help or some guidance.
Mm,
Those people right there will have a different level of appreciation for dog training. Sometime in, like they say in life, you whatever you get easy, you don't value.
mm.
Yeah, that's the truth in dog training. You get what you put in. I am telling you, you get what you put in. And I call it I Mr. Drop the leash. Wherever I am, I could drop the leash. Whatever dog I have with me, I'm gonna drop the leash. Yeah. And I love dogs that can protect me. So that
That's
shows the trust.
important.
Yes, I will drop the leash anywhere. I should have bring one on the talk show.
You shoulda.
Yeah.
Well, you coming back here. So when you come back here, I want you here with Dr. Smith. I want
Oh,
y'all two at the same
that's my
time.
he know me from forever, from I came
I
into
want
the
y'all
game.
two on the same show. We can do that for the summer God's willing.
Yes.
All
So
right. But I there's gonna be a part two, but it's gonna be a part two with a wonderful veterinarian who we had
oh,
there. Go
my
ahead.
apologies, Miss Hannah. I didn't answer your question. The difference with training by yourself and training with
Oh, you
dog
didn't answer
trainers.
that?
No,
Sorry.
ma'am, I didn't.
Go ahead.
No, because I got a bit
Go
depressed because we
ahead.
have to go.
Uh-huh.
But the difference with yourself is that you get to work on things that you're not ready yet to show the world or to show your colleagues, and that's where it's a bit competitive because they don't know we know this and we can do this, and then when we come to the field, it's showtime. And then after it's over, we do trial and error. We coach one another. Everyone is still human, so you have to know and be tactful on how you approach it. I ain't gonna say, Miss Hannah, yeah, your dog can't stay for nothing. No, I'll be like, hey, Miss Hannah, when you reach home, try this method and let me know how if it works for you. And then
Mhm.
the next day, be like, yes, Cliff, like that really worked. What made you tell me that? Oh, because I noticed your stay was a bit weak. It's different because your approach was different.
Mm.
So at home gives you the privacy to mess up without being judged. And that's what as entrepreneurs, as adults, once you get overcome what people think of you in public, you're gonna become crazy for productivity. I'm talking about in every aspect of life. Once you're able to balance that out and realize, listen, I'm working at my pace, I'm doing the best I could do, and you go from there. That's the best way to word it.
I've had three trainers for my dog. Three for my dog. Um, I'm not gonna call their names, but I can call the last trainer that I've had who's presently in the studio. All right. And I'm not dismissing the other two at all because they had their place. But just like when you go to different therapists or different doctors or coaches and go dentists, etc., you want to get a trainer that is fitting or conducive to your dog and your liking,
Into your
right? And
chemistry.
that's very important. I I told you I had three, right? So I ain't calling names, right? But one out of the three, I was like, well, Jesus, what I paying this man for? Because I didn't see this dog do nothing yet. And I don't know if this is, maybe he was, the days that he came, he just was trying to feel the dog out, but it was been a lot of days that he was coming. All right. We had him, I think, twice a week, every week for a couple of weeks. All right. And I haven't seen, I on God is my witness, I did not see anything like that until I got Cliff's Canine College. And I have to big you up.
Thank you,
You were
ma'am.
the reason why I chose you. And I'm not saying that others aren't as, but I'm just saying what worked for me. And when I used him, or instantly I've seen the change in Titan. Instantly Titan knew how to sit and how to stay and all these other things. And I was able to do it because what he was doing was allowing me to train the dog
And
and
that
hearing my voice versus what everyone else was doing because they were the one training. I had one who left my house and took the dog with them while I still standing there waiting. Should I come? No, no, I need to bond with the dog. I don't know if you do that because I may be wrong,
I
but he was saying I needed to bond with the dog, blah blah blah, and did
um
his training, and then he brought the dog back.
that's the unique part. The Bible says your gift will make room for you. So everyone have their own unique gifts. And like I told you in the beginning, that all trainers have different specialties and different methods, and that's what makes it so unique. Because some dogs don't like me. Maybe I'm too aggressive, maybe I'm too bold, they might more like a subtle person, and that's fine. But there's one thing, Miss Hannah, that you said that I hope everyone who's listening listen to very well. And that's another reason of my success rate too. You have to let the owners be involved. There's no way around it at all. I don't live with you. I'm not having a problem. You ask for training. You have to be disciplined and be involved.
Mhm.
You could pay me for 10 months. I made the most money, I do the most training. But there's going to come a time where the class that you miss, you're going to see why you should have done it. You have to. And the balance, you can't have the dog meeting this new person, bonding with this new person, and you're not involved at all and expecting that same reaction. You gotta do the same thing I do. And so you're a mirror. And that's my policy. I don't stop until you can do what I do. If I could do it and I don't live with you and you was raising this dog for 3 years, there's no reason why you can't do it. So I teach you that way and we go from there. And that's the main thing, to be involved.
I love that.
You know.
And
So
I can honestly say that I've experienced his training, and he allowed me to lead. He was just telling me what to do, and I love that. One out of the three did not allow that. I'm not saying the other one didn't, because the other one helped a lot too. But that one out of the three was doing his own thing. Hey, let me bond and do, and then I'll bring the dog back. No.
yeah,
So
we normally focus on the best. We want the best quality and this and that. But it all boils down to what's for you, what works for you.
yeah.
And that's just the best way, you know. Um that's it. That's it. But it was good. I'm not sure if anyone have any
My
questions.
final question is, what advice do you have for owners who may be struggling with training their dog, or who are unsure where to start?
Okay, well, we can start off and say anyone who's listening and having problems with their dog, let them know that they heard me on the show and they will get a 50% discount. That's number one.
50%.
Yeah,
I
50%.
me.
Yeah, 25 because of you, 25 because of you.
Hi.
You know,
Let me know if you're off tomorrow.
yeah. So that's be step number one. And for the most part, I'd say seek help. Book 1 or 2 sessions with any trainer that you could reach and get some advice and then go from there. That's the best way.
Mhm.
Okay. You would need someone outside to come and see it. Or 9 out of 10 times, Pasana, they normally know where their problem lies. You know. Don't be selective on what you would like to train the dog with.
Mhm.
Be balanced. You can't, because you don't want to clean poop. You ensure that you put all your time in potty training and don't remind the dog to sit for his food because what, you being lazy? No. That goes a long way. One more tip. When training a dog to not jump on you for something, the food method is one of the best parts.
Mm.
Because when you're taking up the food, his will to want to get the food.
Yes, it
Hey,
is.
sit,
I
sit.
still do that, by
And
the
then you
way.
drop the plate. So when you have a chicken in your hand from KFC, and you might want to give him the bone, and he want to jump on you, you just see a dog sitting at you because that's the environment training that he does.
Yeah.
Environment training, next example, when you grab the dog food or the keys or the leash, they know they're going for a
Yeah.
walk. It's the environmental
Mhm.
training,
Mhm.
okay? That's what I wanted to say. But yes,
It has
listen to me.
been
I
a
could go
pleasure.
hours.
Someone said, "Thank you for this episode. Those furry friends help to lift hearts and bring smiles. They're also a woman's best friend." Yes, they absolutely. To be honest with you, I had a friend who said to me, because when she saw my the post the flyer that I would have up, she said, "This a woman show. Why are you talking about this training?" I said, "Listen, you don't know half of the Bahamas. Half of us got dogs.
No.
All right. Again, I had a coworker who took 2 weeks off because her pit bull passed away. All right. Dogs are our best friend. Like, yeah, in sales. And she took 2 weeks off because she was in mourning from her dog. All right. They are our best friends. We have animals are part of us. It's our family. So I couldn't go on with the show and not do something about training our family or training our dogs in a way that would help us. Because, for instance, he said something very, very profound. He said, dealing with aggressive dogs when you have infants and you have babies coming in the house and stuff like that, how do you deal with those things? These are things that we need to know to prevent our fur babies from getting put to sleep or preventing them from getting knocked down because they just running in the road as soon as the door open.
Miss Hannah, if I might say before you go, I know I watch a few episodes on your show too, and I'm not sure if they would say it, but you would be surprised how many dogs are the listening ears to hearts out there that you're talking to because they don't have no one else to talk to. They might be too shy to call you or come to the show, and they go right there to Blackie or Brownie, and they be like, "This what's going on." Dog, it's more than owning a
Oh.
dog. I'm telling you, that's if they want to go there, we can get really deep. Let me say it
Mm.
one more time for the
Mm.
those in the back.
Mhm.
There are people who might have pride, who might be too stuck in darkness,
Mhm.
and they would like to reach out to your show. And they're dog lovers, and they're actually relying on their dog to hug them at night before they go to bed because
Mm.
their heart is sore.
Mm.
Okay. And one more thing,
Get the tissue. That's
the dogs, when you caress them and hug them, it feels as if like spiritually they take on our negative energy.
ooh, child.
And after you then caress them, you actually feel a
Better.
relief.
Yeah.
No, I could go
Mhm.
deeper, but it's not factual
Yeah.
verbatim. But there are studies that show that the dogs take away. That's why not everyone loves dogs. We all
Yeah.
have different releases and all.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of us have
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
energies. But
Yeah.
everything in life is energy.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
When the current is off, you see how dead the house is? And when it comes back on, it's like the house is alive. Everything
Mhm.
is energy. So the dogs are right there, Miss Hannah,
Taking in.
taking
Helping you
in
with your
all
mental
of those
issues.
tears
Listening to you.
to those
Licking in your
wives and those
tears.
heartbreaks. And I'd say this: you cannot train a dog and be afraid to get bite, and you cannot love or get in heartbreak. It
Man, I need to
teaches
bring
you.
you back.
It
Talking about
teaches you
loving.
how to be appreciative.
Yes.
You can't be a plumber, don't touch feces. You can't be an electrician, don't get shot.
Yeah.
But once you experience these things,
You
you
know how to handle
appreciate
it.
it differently.
Yeah.
So once you experience proper dog training and building trust, you will never have another dog with us in train, ever. And when you experience someone who nurtures you and feeds you spiritually, emotionally, in ways that you can't imagine, you will never settle for less. And that's what Coach Trishan is all about. I tell you, I'm one of your biggest fans.
Thank you. Oh, that
Thanks
50%
for watching,
discount.
guys.
Mm. No, but
Yeah,
no,
man.
but before we go, this is very important. I want you to tell the audience how you can be reached, and all the social media accounts, how they can log on, follow you, etc.
Okay. I could be reached at Cliffs K9 College. That's Facebook, Instagram. I also have a US page specifically with US friends. So Decoy Cliff, that's with all my international training and stuff. And my contact is 804-4049. My email is clifton.bowe56@gmail.com. Questions, concerns, comments, advice. Is to be honest, it's not all about the money for me. And maybe that's why I'm
We
so
could see that.
blessed.
We could see how passionate you are. We could see that.
It's not because of the money. So if you need help, I would help. So that's it.
That's it. All
Yeah,
right, so I have to reiterate what Mr. Bowe said. He said that if you mention that you heard him on your Lane talk show,
yes.
you don't get 10,
Yeah,
you don't get
50%.
20, you don't get 30, you get how much?
50% off.
50% off your training. All right. And I think that's just marvelous.
That's
All
fifty
right.
dollars. I charge $100 a session, so it's
That's
$50.
$50. That's a steal of a deal.
Yeah.
I love that. I about to get my training. No, no, but Titan is fine. Believe it or not, since the training with Cliff, I could do whatever. I could say whatever, and Titan still remembers. I'm not. I to be honest with you, I'm not consistent with it
Mhm.
because I don't handle him more than my husband handles him more than I do. But when I do, he remembers and he obeys.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna leave that there. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cliff, for being a part of your Lane Talk Show. If you now we're talking about something different now. If you need coaching in any area of life, including premarital coaching, knowing how to restore your marriage, if by chance, of course, you could have your dog, you could talk to your dog, you could tell your dog your issues, but your dog may not be able to talk to you back. All right, so this is where I come in.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna help you with coaching. I'm gonna ask you some questions that'll make you think. That I'll ask you some questions that make you want to get from where you are to where you want to go. In a productive way. You can go ahead on my website www.yourlanelifecoaching.com, and that's for life, and it's also for relationship. I noticed that my coach, my Gassy, I was talking about relationships. Even in that, it's amazing how whatever it is that we do in life, it still goes back to love, right? Love. That's it. That's the bottom line. Love. All right. So we want to deal with that. If you want to go ahead, the website once again is www.yourlanelifecoaching.com. All right. So thank you to my Your Lane sponsors, the Perfume Bar, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Nor Rice and Pesticides, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. O. Henry Candy, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. Libby's Vienna Sausages, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. And I would like to put in that plug once again because they are our sponsor. Libby's Vienna Sausages is what I used when I was doing my training with the dog, with Titan. And of course, I would recommend it. Like our guest said, that's like crack, right? Can I say that on air? Y'all don't come for me. But it is really, really good. It's very effective. It's something you could just have in your hand and just give it right away and instantly. They could smell it, put it in your hand, and close your hand and do whatever you need to do to get your dog to sit and stay. I see y'all laughing. It's all right. All right. So thank you to my producers, Beats and Dessa, holding it down all the time. Your Lane's continued listening audience. Thank you so much for continuing to listen and support. To our first time listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please follow the page Your Lane Life Coaching on Facebook to get all of the updates and goodies from the show. Go to Coach Trish Hannah on YouTube to watch the previous shows. And when you do so, please like and subscribe. All right. I pray that you were all empowered, educated, and encouraged today. So until next time, happy Sunday. Treat your dogs right. Please go and reach out to Cliff's Canine College so you can get your dogs trained and ready to go. Part 2, we're going to have him and our famous veterinarian, Dr. Casey Smith, on board. He ain't know yet, though. Y'all go tell him what I say. Tell him I say he's going to be on board with us in about a month or so. We're going to get y'all back on board, all right? Amazing. All right. All right. Let's do it. Have a nice Sunday.
You coming to the expo tomorrow?
Please tell Mr. Bowe I have 2 Belgian Malinois dogs. I need that 50%. I did. Okay, sir. Mr. Grant, by the way, I gotta get you on his show too.
What it is?
He's on Guardian Radio. He's on Guardian Radio right here. All right. I want to make sure. Howard, reach out to him. Just see if we could get him on your show because once again, he has so much knowledge, so much insight that people need to know about. All right. Turn it down for me, please. All right. So go ahead. Say praise God. I'm gonna give you his contact. I'm gonna give you all contact so we could talk more. We don't have that many people talking about training and proper training.
That's fine.
We don't even have that many decoy.
No.
We don't have that. All right. We don't have that many advocates for dogs.
The most you hear is actually when people are wanting dogs to crossbreed them.
Yeah, that's another thing we got to talk about because there's a proper way to do it. Dr. Smith talked about that when he was here. When y'all come back, that's what we're going to talk about too. We need more advocates. We need someone to say, hey, we need to create more awareness about how to deal with dogs so that we don't have to go and put them to sleep. All right. We hear about, certain breed, i.e. pit bulls who attacking children and people walking the streets all the time because someone is not securing them. Right. So these are things that we're going to be discussing. And if I don't discuss it, we'll have Howard Grant talking about it. He just says send him the contacts. I will do just that. Perfect. So that we could create awareness. All right. All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time. Thank you, Facebook audience. Blessings to you. Happy Sunday.